enough for both teams, but that would depend on goal differences and performances from other teams in other groups. The numbers in this match already tell an intriguing story. Germany have scored 7 goals from their opening match, averaging a goal every 13 minutes, but they have shipped a goal too, and they haven't kept a clean sheet in this competition since 2014 when they won the final. The Ivory Coast have yet to concede this year. They kept a clean sheet on their opener, but they're showing defensive organisation that could be crucial against one of the competition's most potent attacks with a lot of depth in it too. History favours Germany's tournament pedigree, but the Ivory Coast possess explosive pace, physicality and the confidence that comes from winning starts. It's attack versus resilience, possession versus transition, and two teams who know just how significant the next 90 minutes could be. The knockout round of this tournament is up for grabs. It's Germany versus the Ivory Coast. The national anthems have been sung, the players leave the centre circle, they shake hands with one another, and here are your starting 11s, starting with Germany, who make no changes to the side that beat Curaçao by 7-1. Manuel Neuer, controversially perhaps in Germany, continues in goal. A back four of Nathaniel Brown on the left, Nico Schlotterbeck, who's partnered with Jonathan Tah, who's got Ivorian descent, and Joshua Kimmich, the right back. He could be an action point in this game because he lacks pace against pacey wingers in Amad Diallo and Yan Diomande. In midfield for Germany, Alexander Pavlovic partners with Felix Nemetcha, who scored the opener against Curaçao, Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala and Leroy Sané, the front three behind lone striker Kai Havertz. 5 changes are made by Emers Faye for the Ivory Coast. Yahya Fofana continues in goal, as those changes are Kusunu, Sangare, Olayi, Boni and Diallo, who come in for Doué, Fofana, Wawi, Pepe and Toure. So Fofana's in goal, a back four of Ghislaine Konan, Emmanuel Agbadou, Odilon Kusunu and Wilfried Singo, who moves to right back. 4 in midfield, Yan Diomande on the left, Ibrahim Sangare and Frank Kessie down the middle, with goal scorer against Ecuador Amad Diallo over on the right hand side. Christ Iniao Olayi and Ange Yon Boni are the centre forward partnerships in what is now an old fashioned front two. So they're your starting 11s for either side. Germany, their bench looks like this. 2 goalkeepers in Oliver Baumann and Alexander Nubel. Baumann, many thought, would actually start at this tournament, but instead Manuel Neuer was preferred. Also on that bench, Antonio Rudiger, Waldemar Anton, David Raum, Malik Chow, Leon Goretzka, Pascal Gross, Angelo Stieler, Nadiam Amiri, Forzan Udaragu, Dennis Undav, who actually scored last time out off the bench, Jamie Llewellyn, Nick Voltemade and Maximilian Bier. So there is your Germany bench. As for the Ivorian bench, Alban Lafont, Mohamed Kone, Abit Evan Ndika, Guele Doué, Christopher Aperi and Ousmane Diomande, along with Parfait Guegon, Seiko Fofana, Jean-Michel Seri, Bazumana Toure, Nicolas Pepe, Oumar Diakite, Eli Wahi, who had troubles with a visa this week. He's currently undergoing match-fixing charges in France, which prevented him from having entry into the country. Simon Adringa and Evan Gessend. So they're the players on your bench, and while he did eventually get into Canada, but it did take him a couple of days. So it's Germany versus Ivory Coast. Julian Nagelsmann, in his suit, stands on the sidelines, but it looks like Canada today is supporting the African side. Orange shirts pile into the stands. A smattering of white shirts in there too, with the red, black and gold trimmings. But it is the luminous orange of the Ivory Coast, which is out there for all to see. We're moments away from kickoff. Germany versus the Ivory Coast. One of these teams, or both of these teams if it's a draw, could well be heading into the knockout round. Germany would do so for the first time since they won this tournament in 2014. It will be the European side to have kickoff. Kai Havertz is stood over the ball. The referee, Juan Gabriel Benitez of Paraguay, with his Paraguayan assistants, Eduardo Cardoza and Milesirius Saridova. And the referee, Benitez, blows his whistle, and Schlotterbeck receives the ball and pumps it long to get us underway. Germany shooting from left to right as the Ivory Coast win the initial header. Wirtz flicks it down into the path of Havertz. Almost an immediate start to the game, 14 seconds in, but Havertz fires over the top of the crossbar and it remains 0-0. But Schlotterbeck's long ball forward, that header was won by Sané, who just knocked it down into the path of Wirtz, who stuck a leg out, flicked it forward, fell to Kai Havertz. Havertz's shot was wayward and up over the top of the crossbar. early warning signs for the Ivorians, who look to play out from the back. Singo has it. He knocks it across to Agbadu, formerly of Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League. And he's able to play a ball forward and into Jan Diamande, the youngster, who's grabbed the headlines early on. He's going to grab headlines here too as he dives through two German players and is able to play the ball back to Odilon Kusunu. He's got it at right centre-back, knocks it forward into the path of the goal scorer against Ecuador, Amad Diallo. Diallo back to Singo, Singo to Kusunu, as the Ivorians look to play out from the back and almost give the ball away to Florian Wirtz. Wirtz can't control it, no one can control it. Out it goes for a throw-in on the far side. 1 minute 30 gone, Germany 0, Ivory Coast 0 in this crucial match in Group E. Ball's back with Manuel Neuer, playing in his 5th tournament. The only remaining player from their win in 2014. They haven't kept a clean sheet since then. He'll be looking to do just that today as he jogs out in his all-blue strip shirts, short and socks. And he's able to just lump a ball forward, looking down the right-hand side for Sane, who can't get there, but Musiala can. He's able to turn back inside and play it all the way through to Nemetja. Here's Kimmich, the captain, who looks across to Schlotterbeck, and all the Germans pile into the Ivorian half. Schlotterbeck lumps that ball forward down the right-hand side, brought down beautifufly by the studs of Leroy Sane. Sane across and into the path of Musiala. Back to Sane, this time forward to Nemetja. Here's Kimmich on the edge of the box, who's going to look to switch the play down the left-hand side, picking out Florian Wirtz, who brings it down well. Wirtz looks backwards and is able to find Pavlovic. Now here's Schlotterbeck again, and Jonathan Tah, whose father is Ivorian, will be looking for a big impact for his nation of Germany against that of his father's, and he actually gives the ball away, and the Ivory Coast can look to come away with it with pace down the left-hand side. Here is Sangare into Boni. Boni now backed up against the defence of Germany as Diamande gets it on the left-hand side. Diamande cuts onto his left foot, tries to put the cross in, bubbles around, and eventually Germany will be able to stab it clear through Jonathan Tah, who's able to find Leroy Sane. Sane to Musiala as the Germans look to counter themselves. Here they come with Havertz, who's dropped in on the right-hand side, is given the ball away, and it rolls through to Chislane Conan, who plays it all the way back to Yahia Fofana. Bright start to the match though, 3 minutes gone, chances at both ends. Probably Germany who've been on top, but you can already see the pace that the Ivorians like to play with on that counter-attack. Powerful team, and they're happy to slow things down here as they look to recover defensively. The ball with the goalkeeper Yahia Fofana, who's in a highlighter yellow shirt with highlighter pink boots and gloves. He plays for Kaykur Rizespor in Turkey. His first time playing at this competition, and actually could have played for France, but switched allegiance back in 2023, which is why he's playing for the Ivory Coast today. Here's Kusunu into the path of Kessie, out to Singo on the right-hand side. Singo's ball forward, looking for Boni, who's broken through the back line for Germany, looks to put the cross in. Deflection out of play. Will go for a corner, but the flag's gone up for offside. And well, it was a big, powerful ball forward from Wilfried Singo. He looked for Ange Boni, who got on the end of it. He thought he was through on goal there, but as he looked to put the cross in, it was good defending in the end from Joshua Kimmich, who got across. Jonathan Tah got the final touch on it, but as it was, offside and a free kick almost on the goal line for Germany. Bit of pulling involved there too. Slow motion replay of Felix Nemetja just pulling back Jan Diamande. As Germany look to come forward with it, they give the ball away. Kusunu has it, plays it back to Fofana, and the Ivory Coast survive once again. And this time they play it long down the right-hand side, and out it goes for a throw-in. 5 minutes gone. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 0. Pressure starting to build at both ends of the field, though. Neither team really has gained control of this one, as Germany pick the ball up in front of the ever-changing billboards around the side of the pitch. Ontario written on the halfway line, the region where this game's being played here in Toronto. Out it goes to the left-hand side. Florian Wirtz has it. He looks to drive around the orange shirts, but can't do so. Gives the ball away. Diallo wins it back, plays it to Singo. Singo to Kusunu. Kusunu finds his goalkeeper Fofana, who will switch the play down the left-hand side and pick out Sangare. And Diamande looks to keep it in play, can't do so. The ball ends up in the hands of the Ivorian manager, Emers Faye, who himself is leading his team in their first world competition. an AFCON winning coach who was appointed mid-tournament in 2023. The Ivorians, of course, have a great record in the African Championships. They've won it in 1992, 2015, and of course 2023 under Faye. Never have they got past the group stage in this tournament being played now. The ball back with Manuel Neuer, 40 years of age, the Bayern Munich goalkeeper who made 37 appearances for the German champions this season, 11 clean sheets. He plays it out on forward into the feet of Nemetja. Nemetja out to Nathaniel Brown on the left-hand side. Brown looking for Wirtz, can't find him, and Brown continues his run forward. He did score in the opening game, Brown. Does like to track his run and continue to chase the ball, which has gone out of play over on the right-hand side. Sane got the final touch. It'll be a throw-in in the defensive third for the Ivory Coast. Ghislaine Konan has the ball in his hands, and he will be the player to throw this red, blue and green pattern ball in, representing the three host countries, the USA, Mexico and Canada. This game, of course, being played in the red segment of that ball in Canada. And it's the Ivory Coast who come forward with it. Here's Yan Diomande. Diomande works his way through. 2-3 white shirts go to ground. Still Diomande puts the ball across. Body can't bring it under control on the edge of the box, but the Ivorians still have it with Diallo. Diallo back into the feet of Bonny, who's dragged out to the right-hand side. His pass is poor, and Havertz will come away with it for Germany. Havertz picks out the youngster Musiala, who could have played for England. He floats the ball forward, looking for the run of Leroy Sane, who can't get there, and it will go all the way through to Yahia Fofana in the Ivorian goal. Here is Ghislaine Konan, who will run away with it. They look to play with such pace, the team in orange, and they've got the ball deep inside their own half. They're under some pressure here, but still they continue to run, they continue to work, and they're able to play their way out of danger as they look to the right-hand side, and Kasunu picks it up and plays it across to Emmanuel Agbadou. And Agbadou will just loft that ball forward, and he's able to pick out Diomande on the left-hand side. Back across it goes, this time to Christinao Ulai, who's one of the centre forwards, but at the moment is playing more in central defensive midfield. And he's given the ball away and brought pressure onto his side once more. Felix Nemetja steps in to win it back, and here it is with Pavlovic. He looks across to captain Joshua Kimmich, who actually is having to have quite a lot of support in this game from Leroy Sane, who's got a bit more pace. Kimmich, of course, used to be a central midfielder under Pep Guardiola. He was moved to right back, and now under Kompany, he's back in at central defensive midfield. He is playing right back for Germany, though. And given his age, 31 years old, he's not quite got the pace he used to have, and he is struggling already with Yan Diomande running at him and trying to get to his outside. And for that reason, Leroy Sane and Kai Havertz are having to drop deeper. Here come Germany, though, at the other end. Musiala cuts the ball back to Havertz. His touch is poor as he looks to lay it off into the path of Wirtz, who's done well to win that ball back anyway. Wirtz on the right-hand side, brings it under control and knocks it back across, this time to Brown. Brown picks out Pavlovic. Across it goes to Nemetja. Nemetja under pressure is able to lay it off to Kimmich, who puts a cross in on the angle. Header goalwards by Havertz, diving save by Yahia Fofana, who got down well, got two strong hands to it and pushed it away to the right-hand side. And out it goes for a throw-in, I think to the Ivory Coast in the end. But a wonderful ball in from Joshua Kimmich on the angle towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a glancing header from Kai Havertz, who's been able to make it bounce pretty much on the goal line. Fofana's got down to it, maybe he could have caught it. It's a good save in the end as he pushes it away out of danger, and the Ivorians hold on. Germany 0, the Ivory Coast 0. And we've played 10 minutes. But a big, big chance that. And down on the deck is Schlotterbeck. Nico Schlotterbeck, the centre-back, who's being helped back up onto his feet by Jonathan Tah. He's hobbling around there, Schlotterbeck. He's in the side for his build-up play. Nagelsmann says he gives us outstanding build-up play, a superb will to win. And finally, he's a left foot at the back. He pairs excellently with Jonathan Tah, does Nico Schlotterbeck. And his boss will be happy to see that he is back up and onto his feet. as the Ivory Coast play forward down the left-hand side. He's going to be called into action here. He wins the ball and is able to clear it long and pick out Havertz. Havertz back inside to Musiala, who's been bundled to ground on the centre circle, and that will be a free kick to Germany. Wilfried Singo, who's back into the lineup. He didn't start the opener as they beat Ecuador. He is playing in his first competition. Can also play at centre-back. He's at right-back today. He's knocked the ball across to Nico Schlotterbeck. After that foul, he gave them the free kick, which they've taken short, Germany. Here's Jonathan Tah, forward to Nemecha. Nemecha picks out Havertz, who's dropped deep, and is in the centre circle and has given the ball away. Here come the Ivorians once more. Sangare plays the ball down the left-hand side into the path of the youngster Diamande, who's wanted by Liverpool. Diamande cuts inside, lays it off to Conan. Cross comes in towards the edge of the box. Cleared, not quite cleared. Off the head it comes of a German body, and it flies out for a throw-in over on the far side. Throw-in which Amad Diallo will run over to take. Germany 0, the Ivory Coast 0. But they're causing havoc inside the German 6-yard box there. The cross came in. Was it Sane who got the touch on it, which sent it away? And it does go out for a throw-in over on the far side, the right. And the ball is back with the African nation, who've thrown it straight back to Germany, who will look to build out from the back as they play it across to Pavlovic. Pavlovic into the path of Nemecha, who finds Sane over on the right-hand side. Sane with his man bun as he drives forward, his socks cut at the back with big holes as he lays the ball off to Nemecha on the edge of the box. Here's Pavlovic once again, this time on the left-hand side. Exchanges a 1-2 with Musiala as the ball falls to Jonathan Tah, who's got it deep and will play it to Kimmich, who's dropped in at centre-back. He's under pressure, but is able to get it over to Nico Schlotterbeck, who was down injured a few moments ago. His lofted ball forward, looking for Kai Havertz, goes nowhere, except into the arms of Yahia Fofana, who rolls it straight out to Agbadou, and the Ivory Coast will play out from the back with Conan. 13 minutes gone, Germany 0, the Ivory Coast 0, and if you are looking to watch this game rather than listening to it, you can do so with your local broadcaster. Here's Conan across to Odilon Kasonu. Here's Sangare now, who will play it down the right to Singo, still inside their own half. The Ivorians, who are dominating the fan picture behind so many orange pockets of fans in the crowd there. There's quite a lot of Germans too. Initially, it looked like there was more Ivorians, but I think the German fans have piled in behind the goals. And I think maybe the Germans dominate. Goal kick to Germany, a long ball played forward from the back by the Ivory Coast. They were looking for Yan Diamande, who couldn't get there, and out it goes for the goal kick. And already German players sprinting to warm up, both of them centre-backs. So Antonio Rudiger and Waldemar Anton, as Schlotterbeck is back down on the ground. He takes a pain-killing tablet. The physios have brought on the wet sponge, which will surely prove all the difference. He's got some water too, but he's down for a second time. This time he actually won the tackle. He took some contact into his quad from, I thought it was Singo, but it wasn't Singo. It was Amad Diallo, and Schlotterbeck down in his own 6-yard box and seems to be in some discomfort here as they get him back up onto his feet, the physios, and edge him off the field of play. Well, so far the game's been finely balanced. Both teams having chances. Germany had the best of them. Kai Havertz with a glancing header, well saved by Fofana. But the Ivorians have looked good on the counter. And if they do get a win today, and Curaçao fail to beat Ecuador, the Ivorians would win Group A. Any win for the Ivorians would guarantee them knockout round football for the first time, and Germany would return to the knockout round with a win of their own for the first time since 2014. We're back underway. 15 minutes have been played of this first half. Toronto the venue, Germany and the Ivory Coast the nations, and the ball is back with the orange defenders, and Agbadou rolls it out to Conan, forward to Sangare, who's got it in the centre of the park. He finds Conan again, inside German territory, back to Agbadou. Agbadou looks to switch the play and does so successfully to Frank Kessie. Here is Singo at the right back, who lays it off this time to Kasunu. Sangare once again, who's dropped deep to receive the ball and looks to bring it forward. He's able to play a lovely ball down the left-hand side to Diamande, who looked to just flick it into the path of Conan, who was sprinting forward. His pass was overhit. It rolls out of play for a goal kick, which Manuel Neuer, 40 years of age, will take. He had some tension with boss Julian Nagelsmann back in 2023 when Nagelsmann was Bayern Munich manager. He sacked the then Bayern Munich goalkeeping coach, which Manuel Neuer didn't like. It eventually helped push Nagelsmann out the door. He didn't last very long at Bayern Munich. He was also at Hoffenheim and Leipzig, Nagelsmann, before Bayern Munich. But he did eventually land the Germany job and is stuck with Manuel Neuer. Lots of fan voices calling for other goalkeeping options, particularly Oliver Baumann of Hoffenheim, who was expected really to start this competition. Neuer, of course, was in international retirement as Germany come forward with it down the left-hand side. Nathaniel Brown lays it off towards the path of Sane. It's cleared away down the left-hand side, but Neuer is back in the fray for Germany. A bit of a surprise, really, to see his name in the squad, and now he's starting at this, the biggest of tournaments. Once again, his 5th campaign for his country. The ball on the left-hand side as Germany have it with Florian Wirtz into the feet of Musiala, and now Brown, who finds Schlotterbeck, who is okay and continuing. He's got the ball over on the left, is able to float it into the feet of Wirtz. Wirtz stands up his defender and knocks it to Musiala. Musiala back to Pavlovic. Pavlovic into the path once again of Musiala, who's on the edge of the box, takes the shot wide of the right-hand post. A big opportunity for the youngster, 23 years of age, from Bayern Munich, in his 2nd global competition. Well, it was lovely interchange from him to exchange passes left and right. Eventually it fell to him on the edge of the box. He took a touch to get it out of his feet. He was able to bend it around Kasunu towards that far post as Fofana saw it, but it just trickled wide and out for the goal kick. But a big opportunity for Germany, who've had 2 of those now. 18 minutes played. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 0, and Singo gives the ball away, and the Germans will have a throw-in over on the left-hand side. Florian Wirtz to take, with Schlotterbeck strolling over, and he is moving better as he brings the ball under control, Schlotterbeck, and knocks it across to Jonathan Tah, who benefited from playing at Bayer Leverkusen. He won the double under Xabi Alonso. That helped him get into the German team. He'll be really pleased to be playing today. As I mentioned earlier, he was born in Hamburg to a German mother, but his father is from the Ivory Coast. So Jonathan Tah with a lot at stake today, really. This is his 48th cap for Germany, who have the ball on the left with Wirtz, who looks inside to Pavlovic. Pavlovic to Musiala, as the Germans really are seizing control of the match now as we approach the hydration break. Kimmich across to Tah. Now Schlotterbeck, who's brought the ball back into his own half, but is able to knock it back into Ivorian territory to Wirtz. Wirtz with a through ball to Musiala, who looks for the run of Havertz, but off his line comes Yahia Fofana, sliding in, catching the ball, and it remains 0-0. And this is an opportunity to relieve some pressure for the team from Africa, as Fofana is going to kick it out of his hands. That side-winding effort which trickles through to the German backline, and Diamande is frustrated that his goalkeeper didn't just roll it short. A big name for Fofana in the Ivory Coast ranks. He actually led Ligue 1 for saves in 2024-2025 before moving to Turkey. He plays for Çaykur Rizespor. He was the AFCON winning goalkeeper back in 2023. Saved a penalty versus Mali in the quarter-finals, which actually helped them progress and to win that competition. It's been a pivotal part of the plans of Emir Seyfai ever since then. And it's the defensive efforts that him and his team have made so far that have proved the difference. 0-0 the scoreline after 20 minutes. But Germany really on top and coming forward again with Musiala, who picks out Wirtz on the left-hand side. Wirtz looks to try and put a cross in. Instead goes alone, is able to try and knock it back into the path of Musiala, but gives it away, and Diallo gives it straight back. Here it is on the right-hand side. Shot comes in, off the roof of the net. Felix Nmecha with a half chance there at best as Diallo gave the ball away. And well, he just scuffed it out from under his feet and has gone out for a corner, which Kai Havertz is rushing over to take over on the right-hand side. And Havertz is going to leave it for, well, it looked like it was going to be Kimmich, but he's left it for Nathaniel Brown, who's walking over to take it. Oh, well, one opportunity. Felix Nemetschia, as the pitch just opened up for him. Took a deflection, bounced off the roof of the net, and this is the corner for Germany with 21 minutes played. Short to Kimmich, who puts the ball in. The keeper spilt it and knocked it into his own net. Germany take the lead against the Ivory Coast, but the referee has waved it away. Pavlovic up on the goalkeeper, Yahia Fofana. Fofana, as the cross came in, got a glove to it. He was only able to push it down and into his own net. Pavlovic rose highest. The goalkeeper got it all wrong. I'm not sure there was too much contact in that. VAR certainly will have a look. But as Pavlovic rose up, he's got an arm across the goalkeeper, Fofana, who's gone down. He's pushed it into his own goal. The Germans think they've got the lead. The referee, Juan Gabriel Benitez, has made the big call that it's a foul. And now we'll have to wait and see if the video assistant referee agrees. Yahia Fofana is down, holding his face to 25-year-old. There didn't look to me to be too much contact in that at all. Pavlovic, as he rose up, he had his arms out as every centre-forward would do when they're jumping to try and win the ball. And his arm has just come across the goalkeeper. Both players with eyes on the ball. He's actually put his back into the goalkeeper, Pavlovic, as well. I think this goal will be disallowed, much to the frustration of Julian Nagelsmann. 0-0 the score. Looks like VAR are done with their check and the goal will not stand. Yahia Fofana receiving treatment. So the referee is telling the German players that they can't actually speak to Julian Nagelsmann. They can't have a water break. They've got that to come very shortly. The Ivory Coast players down there too, just trying to have their water, but under the new regulations that FIFA have brought in, that is certainly not permitted. But Fofana is back up and onto his feet. He's walking around. It looks like they're going to remove him from the field of play. No, they're not. Looked like the physio was trying to take him off the field. But he is able to play on. And it is a free kick to the Ivory Coast. Germany with the ball in the back of the net. Fofana had pushed it in himself, but he was fouled in the process by Pavlovic. And play continues at 0-0 from a goal kick. And yet again, a let-off for Germany. This time, smashed long and into opposition territory. Headed downwards and into Felix Nemetschia for Germany, who's rushing towards the halfway line. He's got Florian Wirtz to his left, instead cuts inside onto his right boot and lays it off to Pavlovic, who thought he'd been influential in a goal a few moments ago. Pavlovic back to Schlotterbeck. Here's Jonathan Tah. Tah's got Kimmich to his right. That's where he goes to his captain. And Kimmich receives a 1-2 back from Nemetschia, who's dragged back in. And Pavlovic switches play out to Schlotterbeck, who brings it into the Ivorian half once again. Schlotterbeck, foot on the ball, lays it off backwards to Tah. Tah across now to Brown, who will bring it forward. And Kimmich is waiting on the right. Kimmich looks forward to Nemetschia. Nemetschia out to Sane, who's dropped deep the winger. And Sane looks to take on his marker over on the right-hand side and is able to beat Conan. So Sane, right-hand side, crossing chance, instead lays it off towards the edge of the box, is flicked away by the Ivory Coast, won back by Germany, who are only able to play it all the way back to Manuel Neuer, whose first touch is good, and lays it off into the path of Schlotterbeck. Schlotterbeck looks to the left-hand side, ball goes out of play, and it will be a throw-in to the Ivory Coast, which will be taken after the first half hydration break. 25 minutes have been played. We are just over halfway, you'd feel, through the opening 45 minutes, but we do expect a few minutes of stoppage time. Nico Schlotterbeck twice went down injured, plus we had the VAR check and the physio treatment for the goalkeeper Yahia Fofana, who does actually seem to be okay and is able to continue. So Schlotterbeck and Fofana both fine, and after the hydration break, play will continue. But Germany, well, probably have been the team with the best of the chances. As I say, they had the ball in the back of the net when Fofana pushed it in. But before that, there was chances. Firstly, for Kai Havertz. Kimmich put the ball in towards the edge of the box. It was a glancing header by Havertz, which was low and hard towards the bottom right-hand corner. Fofana did well to bundle his way across the goal line and to get two hands to it, to push it away. And moments after that, the ball fell to Jamal Musiala, who had an effort over the top of the crossbar as it opened up to him. He managed to just weave the ball around Odilon Kusunu as it bent in towards the far post, but out of play it went. There was one more chance for Felix Nemetja. He had an effort deflected over the top of the crossbar from 30 yards out. That's the pick of the opportunity so far, the biggest of which, the disallowed goal. The corner came in, Fofana rose highest. He was under pressure from Pavlovic, who put an arm across him. Fofana pushed the ball into his own net, but the referee, Juan Gabriel Benitez, decided that Pavlovic's contact was too much and he gave the free kick. Play will resume in the next minute or so. It will be a throw-in to the Ivorians, but here's a look at the stats so far after 25 minutes of action. Germany have 64% of the ball. The Ivorians have 36%. If you like XG, 0.19 for Germany, 0.09 for the Ivory Coast. Not much in it at all. 4 shots the Germans have mustered, 1 on target. Ivory Coast have had just 1 shot. And it was, of course, 1 save made by Fofana, the only save of the match so far. Neuer untroubled as we look over this wonderful stadium here in Toronto, right on the waterfront. Big arched roof overhead as play looks set to resume. It will be a throw-in for the Ivorians in their defensive third. The German fans in fine voice down there. The Ivorians in their orange, flags waving, orange glasses, orange hats being worn by all their fans. We will be ready to resume after the hydration break, which is almost at its conclusion. So 0-0 the score. Singo wanders over to get that ball. So expect probably, on balance of play so far, at least 6 minutes of first half stoppage time. We've played 28 minutes of the regulation 45. The Ivorians have a throw in through Singo on the right hand side. That will resume play. He grabs the ball, places it behind his head and lobs it forward. Headed out of play for another throw in, this time inside the German half. It looks like Schlotterbeck will be done here. Rudiger, the former Real Madrid player, is set to come on the pitch. In fact, I think he does still play for Real Madrid, in fact. He's got a bit of a temperament issue, which has reoccurred recently, Rudiger. I'm sure we'll talk about that throughout the course of the match. But he is very experienced as a centre-back and has won pretty much everything there is to win. Schlotterbeck's going to have more defending to do, though, if he is to leave the field of play, because the Ivory Coast come forward. But they look back to Kusunu, the centre-half. Here's Singo. Singo across to Kusunu once more. Here this time is Sangare. Sangare to his left is able to pick out Agbadou. Ulai's dropped in deep and he's able to play a pass to Diomande, who looks to take on Kimmich. Great play from the youngster as Diomande keeps the ball and looks to put the cross in low and hard across the edge of the 6-yard box. Stabbed off the goal line by Neuer, but stabbed in at the second time of asking. And Joan Bonny gives the Ivory Coast the lead. They're headed to the knockout round for the very first time. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1. A real defensive mess from Germany, whose record of not keeping a clean sheet since they won this competition in 2014 will have to continue some more. The cross came in. It was lovely from Yan Diomande, who danced past Kimmich on the left-hand side. It was a low and hard ball in towards the front post. No one could deal with it from either side. It bounced off Manuel Neuer. It fell to Bonny 6 yards from goal. And his first touch was beautiful and instepped into the bottom left-hand corner of the net. The Ivory Coast, for the first time in their history, may well be headed to the knockout round. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1. What a mess defensively from the Germans. And well, that really was the first big opportunity that the Ivory Coast have had. Bonny involved, but Kessie, the goal, has gone to. There was 3 or 4 players surrounding the ball. Bonny got the initial touch on it. Kessie must have stabbed it in. But my word, what an upset this would be. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1, 30 minutes played. And Germany have an uphill battle. This is the first time they've trailed at this competition this year. The Ivory Coast yet to concede. Germany with the ball on the right-hand side. Out it goes for a throw-in, which has gone to the Ivorians. Rudiger goes out for another run as he continues his warm-up, but he is taped up. He's got his shirt on, his shorts on. He is match ready should they need him. Ivory Coast float that ball forward towards Diomande from the throw-in, but out it goes again over on the left-hand side. So Kessie, the goal scorer, he just prodded it in pretty much from the goal line. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1, and the Ivorians look for a second as Singo comes away with it down the right-hand side, but he's only able to turn Florian Wirtz and drive into the German half before he's held up and was going to have to lay the ball off here. But he looks to go alone and has actually bundled his way through. The referee plays advantage. That's great play from Singo, who lays it off to Sangare. Here's Diomande, who won't get the assist but really deserves it from the opener. He's laid it off backwards to Sangare again, who brings it under control and plays it across to Agbadou. The Ivorians playing with confidence now. Kusunu down the right-hand side into Diallo. Diallo looks to put the cross in, but instead dances away inside the penalty area, goes to ground, no foul. Ball won back again by Ivory Coast, but it's cleared up and into the air by Germany, who can only clear it long back to the goalkeeper Yahia Fofana. And the team in orange are the team who are dominating against one of this competition's most historic teams, who are really struggling here despite having lots of chances, as Diomande's away with it again down the left-hand side. He's picked the pocket of Kimmich, who thought he had the ball, and Diomande's able to lay it off backwards to Conan. Conan to Agbadou. Back across it goes this time, and into the feet of Agbadou once more, who finds Sangare. Sangare up into the feet of Kessie, the goal scorer. Back to Sangare once more as the pressure comes from Kai Havertz and Jamal Musiala. But the Ivorians just bypass the press with a long ball down the right-hand side. Diallo keeps it in play, puts the cross in, poor cross, low and hard, looking for Bonny. Can't find him, and Germany run away with it down the left with Wirtz. Wirtz, though, puts that ball out of play. Did it take a touch off an orange shirt? It didn't. Wirtz has run himself into danger. He's given the ball away. Kessie, the captain. Kessie, the goal scorer. His 16th goal for the Ivory Coast. He's just done some excellent defensive work and is proving pivotal in this match. The Ivorians lead by 1-0, and they've got the ball back inside the German half. Right-hand side, throw in to be taken by Singo, who just gives it away. They've done that so many times, thrown it straight to a German player. This time, the player was Nemecha, who couldn't bring it under control. And the Ivorians will have a second chance to try and find a player of their own. They have a throw-in 28 yards from goal over on the right-hand side, which Singo does pick out a teammate with. He throws it back to Kusunu. Kusunu forward to Agbadou. Back it goes, this time to Conan, who picks out Agbadou again, who looks for a long ball down the right-hand side. A lovely weight on that to find Amad Diallo, but Diallo's touch just weak. He puts a hand in the air to apologise to Agbadou. It was a lovely ball forward. Diallo couldn't capitalise, and it will be a throw-in to Germany on the far side. Well, Ivory Coast scored with their very first shot on target of the match. Germany have only had one of their own, although they have had the ball in the back of the net. Goal disallowed by Fofana. And as we approach 35 minutes, a reminder that if you'd like to watch this match, you can do so using your local host broadcaster. Germany coming forward with Tar. Rudiger still on the bench. He's not come onto the field of play yet, which means Schlotterbeck continues. Sane picks the ball up on the right, looks to dance his way through, instead lays it off to Schlotterbeck. Schlotterbeck switching the play further down the right-hand side, but Sane wasn't there because he just passed the ball to Schlotterbeck, and out it goes for a... is it a throw-in or is it a goal kick? It was right on the corner flag. I think it might be a goal kick. But, well, this Ivory Coast team looking phenomenal. Frank Kessie of Al Ahly, the goal scorer, 29 years of age. He's won so much in his career, the Serie A with Milan, and he's won, of course, La Liga with Barcelona as well. Well, he may well be making national history with the Ivory Coast today as things stand. Here's Jonathan Tah. Tah with the ball forward, finding Musiala, who looks back to Pavlovic. Pavlovic looks to play it down the left-hand side. It's headed away. Still not cleared, though, as this time Agbadou gets a foot to it. The goalkeeper had rushed out. Agbadou's clearance was poor. He could only pick out Nathaniel Brown, who's bundled to the ground. But the referee says that Amad Diallo didn't foul him, and the final touch came off Nathaniel Brown, and it's a throw-in to the Ivory Coast. Well, Amad Diallo, he's been the bright spark for the Ivory Coast in their first match. He's looked good in this one too. Bit of a troubled year. Fell out of favour with Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. Recently under Michael Carrick has got back into that United side. And well, after being benched for the opening game against Ecuador, his goal was pivotal, and that earned him the start today, which I think he's justified so far. He's been lively down that right-hand side. Well, he was the stand-up player at AFCON this year for the Ivory Coast. Kimmich has the ball for Germany, just inside the Ivorian half. He plays it down the right-hand side to Sane. Sane forward to Havertz. Back again with Sane, who looks like he's going to put a cross in. Instead plays it short to Musiala. Musiala plays it back to him. Havertz isn't on the same wavelength, but is able to just about get it under his feet and play it back to Havertz. Now it falls to Nemetja, who plays it across to Pavlovic. Pavlovic with space for the shot, doesn't elect to do so. Recycles the ball back to Jonathan Tah. Here's Nico Schlotterbeck across to Kimmich, who's under pressure. Kimmich to Tah, weak pass, just about recovered. And Germany are surrounded by orange shirts here, and it's a 3-on-3 breakaway as Jan Diamande wins the ball back. He lays it off to his left to Boni. Boni with a shooting chance. Boni curves it in. Good save by Manuel Neuer. Looked like he needed to dive. He didn't do so. His footwork was brilliant. He was able to scramble across and make the catch. But the Ivorians on the counter look so dangerous. That time Manuel Neuer called into action. He makes his first save of the match. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1. 38 minutes played, and Germany come forward down the left-hand side. Musiala has it, lays it off this time to Pavlovic. Brown now has it as he looks to drive inside, goes to ground on the edge of the box. No foul, says the referee, and the Ivory Coast look to come away with it. They do so through Agbadou. Now Ulai. Ulai looks to his left to Conan, who just slows play down. Conan inside to Sangare, who twists and turns and plays it back to Kusunu. Kusunu's brought to ground. Play continues. Germany have it. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. Across to Havertz, who scores. The referees ruled it out for the foul, but he let play continue. For the second time in the game, Germany have the ball in the back of the net, but the referee has waved it away. I think he's made the right decision this time. There was definitely a foul in the build-up. Kai Havertz, though, with a cool, calm, collected finish. He was already past the goalkeeper Fofana when he received the ball, but what a mix-up that was for the Ivory Coast. Musiala did, in fact, commit the foul. He sticks a foot out. Kusunu takes contact, goes to ground. This will not stand. It will remain Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1, but it was a calm finish from Havertz with the goal at his mercy. Celebrations on ice for a second time. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1, and the ball's played forward from the subsequent free kick. We're approaching 40 minutes played, and it's the African side who lead the Europeans in this hunt for a knockout round place. Ball down the right to Havertz, who just had the ball in the back of the net, disallowed. Musiala's bundled to ground. This time it's a free kick to Germany, 35 yards from goal. Havertz looks to put it down on the spot and take it quickly, but the referee says no. But this will be a crossing chance. 35 yards from the target, slightly off to the right-hand side as Musiala was bundled to ground there. He committed a foul moments ago. He's received a foul here. But that finish from Havertz was quite special, actually. It looked like an open goal, but when you see it from his perspective, he had a really tight window between goalkeeper and defender to slot it into. And he did well with the goalkeeper rushing back towards his line. Here's a chance for Germany to score a legal goal. Free kick, right-hand side. Two players stood over it. One of them is Sane, but it looks like it's going to be Kimmich to take. He's got one arm up in the air as he steps forward now. Floats it in towards the back post. White shirts rising, orange shirts rising higher. Stabbed clear. The Ivory Coast survive and they've played it forward and found Amad Diallo. One-on-one with Brown. Diallo looks to cut to the inside, does so, but Jonathan Tah has tracked back, but it was Nemecha, I think, who got the final touch on it and was able to knock it back to goalkeeper Neuer, who clears long. Germany coming forward down the left-hand side. Ivorian sat deep, though, and no space for Florian Wirtz, who's had to beat his marker, Singo, on the left-hand side. Ball played across by Brown. Brown into the feet of Wirtz. Wirtz with a shooting chance, bundled wide. Took a deflection, out for a corner. Florian Wirtz really should have done better. He's looked bright in this game, struggled for Liverpool all season long, impressed against Curacao. He's looked impressive against the Ivory Coast, but Florian Wirtz there really needed to put some loft onto the ball. Instead, he looked to hit it low. It bounced off not one but two Ivorian players. Out it goes for a corner. Over on the left-hand side. White shirts lining the edge of the box. As Schlotterbeck initiates some movement on Agbadou, looking to create the space as that ball's played really high in towards the back post. Tah was the header, and it's cleared off the goal line. Shot comes in from Nemecha, falls to the feet this time of Wirtz, but it's cleared away by the Ivory Coast, who had every single player behind the ball. They needed that strong wall as Schlotterbeck looked to direct a shot goalwards, and out it goes on the far side for a throw-in. Taken short. Over on the left to Kimmich. Here's Wirtz. Wirtz into the feet of Musiala, but a diving challenge from Ulai wins the ball back for the Ivory Coast, who have it on the left and are able to play it out through Ulai, who drives forward past two white shirts and picks out Yan Diomande over on the left-hand side. Diomande, who's wanted by Liverpool, the biggest clubs in Europe circling, and he's able to play it back to Ghislaine Konan, who looks across to Agbadou and to Kosunu as the defensive line gets to work for the Ivory Coast. So Yan Diomande of RB Leipzig, second youngest Bundesliga hat-trick scorer ever. 36 appearances and 13 goals for club this year. Had quite a good season too, Leipzig. But he may well be leaving them this summer. And this, the shop window of the world, his opportunity to make a name for himself. And I think that is exactly the opportunity that he's taking with a performance like the one we've seen from him today. Konan to Agbadou. Agbadou's got an option back inside. That's Kosunu, who will look across to Sangare. Back to Agbadou again, who finds Sangare again, who's under pressure but is able to just play his way through with a lovely touch and then passes the ball straight to Germany, who've got a big chance to counter here. Sane looking to come away with it down the right-hand side. Agbadou gets across and is able to play it back to goalkeeper Fofana. 44 minutes gone, Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1, approaching half-time. Expect a lengthy stoppage time, 3 minutes for the hydration break, plus probably 3 minutes for two injuries to Nico Schlotterbeck and an injury to Fofana. Plus we've had a couple of VAR checks, so expect quite a lengthy stoppage time as we tick over now into the 44th minute. Ball over on the right, in the hands of Ivory Coast, who look to play forward. Once again, they've thrown the ball straight to Germany. This time, Germany look to actually make them pay for that as Sane drives into opposition territory. He gives the ball away. Diomande has it back. He has just about kept it in play on the left-hand side, says the assistant referee, and he's able to play it back to Konan. Konan looks forward, passes it into space. Flat-footed was Angione Boni, the centre-forward. He can't get onto the loose ball, and the goalkeeper Manuel Neuer comes out to claim it and rolls it forward into the path of Jonathan Tah. Tah down the right to Nemecha. Nemecha under pressure but is able to keep the ball. He drives forward, continues to drive forward, beats another player before playing it off to Pavlovic. Pavlovic looks across and backwards to Schlotterbeck. Here's Jonathan Tah again, and now Kimmich, the captain, who's playing it right back despite having played central midfield for much of his career. Here's Sane on the right-hand side, driving, inverting his run, looking to find the feet of Havertz. Havertz can't get there, Diomande can. He comes away with it and is able to just knock it off a German boot, and out it goes for a throw-in. That was good play from Diomande. It really just let off the pressure a little bit, and it's allowed his team an opportunity to try and play out from the back and to gain some more territory for themselves. They're sat so deep. The defensive work has been superb. They lead by a goal to nil. We're into the 45th minute. We'll find out the stoppage time shortly. The throw-in's been taken. It's flicked around, and Germany looking to defend, and they've won the ball back just inside their own half as we see 7 minutes of first half stoppage time. We're into 4 seconds of it so far. Here they come, the Germans, looking to break down the back line of the boys wearing orange, Les Elefantes as they're known, the Elephants as it translates to in English. With their strong history, they've been playing football since 1930. They won their first ever match 3-2 against Benin. And while they could be making more history today, if this result stands, they will be into the knockout round at this competition for the first time. Sane looking to change that. He's got the ball on the right-hand side, looks to put a cross in. It bounces off an orange shirt, and it will be a corner ball to Germany, which Florian Wirtz is set to take. This will be taken short and into the feet this time of Kimmich. Kimmich looks to create space for the cross, but he's dragged his run too centrally. Kimmich still floats it in towards the back post, diving headed away, only as far as Pavlovic. Pavlovic to Schlotterbeck, who picks out Pavlovic on the left-hand side. Ball in it comes towards Havertz, out to Tar, who looks from range. He wins the ball back as Nemecha picks it up. Here's Brown driving forward. Musiala can't get onto it, and the Ivorian survivor able to play out from the back with Wilfried Singo, who's sprinting away with pace down the right-hand side. He's in a foot race now with a big number 23, Felix Nemecha, who wins the ball back for Germany, and Nico Schlotterbeck gets on the ball and rolls it back to him. Good play, though, from Singo, who had to beat a couple of players to relinquish danger, did so well, and continued his run forward and into opposition territory. But it is the opposition who come forward. They've found Havertz, who's got it on the right-hand side. Switches it wide to Sane. Sane cuts back inside and finds Pavlovic. Pavlovic across this time to Nemecha. Nemecha to Schlotterbeck. They're building here down the left-hand side. Opportunity for the cross from Brown. Instead goes back to Schlotterbeck. Schlotterbeck looks inside. Good ball across. Cleared away down the right-hand side. Amad Diallo gives it back. Here they come again. Musiala this time. Driving inside, goes to ground on the edge of the box. That will be a free kick, will it? Should be. The referee hasn't given it. Goalkeeper has the ball. And 2 minutes of the 7 added on have been played, but that really should have been a free kick right on the edge of the box, I feel. Musiala driving through. Diallo gets between his legs, clips his heels. Yeah, that should be a free kick. It's 2 yards from the edge of the box. Musiala's gone to ground. Perhaps his theatrics there have actually cost him the free kick. But Diallo probably lucky not to be on a yellow card too. Ball won back though by the Germans, who've dominated possession and really have dominated the chances too. Just the one for the Ivory Coast, the one big chance which Frank Kessie was able to convert eventually after a goal line scramble. Back it goes to Kasunu and Fofana. Fofana, the goalkeeper, is going to play it long down the right hand side looking for Diallo. Diallo's picked it down with his left boot, strokes it backwards to Singo. Singo across to Kessie. You feel that the Ivorians are going to look to just play out the first half here as they look to drive forward. Forward it goes to Bonny. Bonny towards the edge of the box. Good opportunity, tries to cut it across, off Schlotterbeck's boot and out for a corner. 4 minutes of the 7 added on have been played. The Ivory Coast would love a second goal in this first half. Group E, qualification at stake. And well, this will be a corner on the right for a chance for 2-0. And when you see Musiala go to ground there, from the referee's point of view, you realise that there was contact, but Musiala made a meal of it, and that's why the referee didn't give it. He almost made it look like there was no contact. Such were his theatrics. Corner to the team in orange. In-swinger, headed away at the front post. Out it goes for a throw-in. 20 yards from goal. Diamande, with his black head covering on, sprints around towards that back post. This will be a throw-in to be taken by Singo on the right. He's got the ball in his hands now as he waits to take it. His nation's flag's flying behind him. In it goes towards the edge of the box. Once again, he's given it straight away. Sangare's got onto the loose ball, though. He's able to knock it across to Conan. Conan to Diamande, who made the first goal happen with his technical footwork down the left-hand side. This time he's laid it off to Conan again. Here's Sangare to Conan, who cuts inside, finds Diamande, and Diamande looks to drive forward. This time he plays it out to his left. Here's Ulai. Ulai in space, edge of the box. Cuts inside, ball forward into the feet of Kessie, who's gone to ground. Play continues as Diamande laps it up. He's got it on the left. Can he keep it in play? Yes, he can. Diamande loses out though to Kimmich. He's able to slide and get a foot on the ball, and Diamande just pushes Kimmich to say, you're not having that ball, but Kimmich has already taken the throw-in. In it goes towards Pavlovic. Kimmich again. Now Tar and Neuer, who right-footed, lost it up towards Musiala, who heads it onwards towards Havertz. There's a hand in there, but the referee's not seen it, and Akpadu's able to clear despite having handled the ball just moments before. Sangare goes to ground. Into the feet of Wirtz goes the ball as Musiala wins it back. Havertz now driving forward. He's got an option to his left in Pavlovic. Pavlovic bundled down. Play continues again. And Juan Gabriel Benitez is really letting this game flow now. Here it is with Wirtz. Tackles flying in. Wirtz still with it though. He floats it out to the left-hand side now. Forward come the Germans with Nathaniel Brown. Back it goes to Pavlovic again. Exchanges a 1-2 with Schlotterbeck. Here is Brown once more. Back to Schlotterbeck, and Musiala looks to drive through. Pavlovic can't get there, and it will roll all the way backwards to Florian Wirtz, who's dropped in at left back. 1 minute of the 7 added on to be played of this first 45 minutes. Wirtz with the ball, chipped in. The Germans need a goal here. Nemetcha's brought it down into the path of Musiala. Good defending by Kasunu to stab it away. And Yan Diamande's picked it up as the Ivorians look for a second. Amad Diallo was wide open down the left-hand side. No one found him. Diamande looked to do all the hard work down the left. Really needed to switch the play. Nothing comes of it. 30 seconds left of this first half. Forward come Germany with Felix Nemetcha. Nemetcha still with it on the edge of the box. Now with Havertz, who just drags it inside the box and lays it off this time to Kimmich. Kimmich looks to put the cross in. He's got no option, so has to go to Sane. Sane driving forward, dancing through the back line of the Ivory Coast. Flick through. Here's Wirtz inside the 6-yard box, gets the effort on goal. But Yahia Fofana gets down. That was lovely play all round from Germany. Big opportunity there. It all started with Kimmich, who laid it off to Sane. Sane danced through not 1, not 2, but 3 players as he laid it off. First time ball into the feet of Musiala, who just backheeled it through to Wirtz. Wirtz danced past another Ivorian player, got the shot on goal. The shot was poor, straight into the arms of Yahia Fofana, and it remains Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1, and that must just about be it for the first half. It is indeed the Ivory Coast on the score sheet, courtesy of captain Frank Kessie. Yan Diamande did all the hard work. He danced through down the left-hand side. Cut a ball low and hard in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It wasn't dealt with. First shot came in, saved by Neuer, bundled around in the edge of the box. Kessie able to stab his right boot onto it and into the back of the net amongst 3 Ivorian players. And that's the goal that may well, at half-time, see the Ivory Coast into the knockout round of this competition for the first ever time. Half-time, Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.
Well, Ivory Coast find themselves just 45 minutes away from their first ever knockout round of this competition. They lead Germany by a goal to nil, and the team in orange get us back underway. The African side shooting from left to right, no changes at half-time for either team, and it's gone straight out of play for a throw-in to Germany. In fact, there is a change at half-time. We didn't see it, but Antonio Rudiger, who we saw warming up for most of the first half, has come onto the field of play. He has come on, presumably for Nico Schlotterbeck. He has indeed. Schlotterbeck is off for Germany, and on is the experienced Antonio Rudiger. So that is the only change of the game so far. Here come Ivory Coast, though, looking for their second down the right-hand side. Diallo onto the edge of the box, knocks it inside, cleared away. And it remains 1-0 as Germany get the ball back under pressure. But they've given it away. Slow start to this second half from the Germans has opened the door for the Ivorians, who've got it on the left with Sangare. Out it goes towards Yan Diomande, who can't bring it under control, and it rolls through for a throw-in. Limping there is Ghislaine Conant, who took some contact, but he's having to sprint over to get the ball for the throw-in. Under the new rules, if he's not quick enough, the ball would pass to the opposite team. So no changes for Ivory Coast, one change for Germany. And the Ivorians have the ball on the byline after the throw-in. Bundled to the ground goes Diomande, but play will continue. Germany have it. They roll it out to Tar, who's under pressure. Tar goes back to Neuer, who himself is under pressure. Neuer calm, collected, and able to clear. And that's the experience of a man making his 21st appearance in this competition, the most ever by a goalkeeper. So a bit of history for Manuel Neuer. Forward come Ivory Coast again, this time back to Singo. They're really looking to put the hammer down at the start of this second half. Here is Kosunu, the defender, across to Singo again. Singo chips forward looking for Kessie, who scored the opener. He can't bring the ball under control. Jonathan Tah can for Germany, and he's able to roll it out to Wietz, who looks to drive away and finds Musiala. Musiala into the feet of Havertz. Havertz can't get there. He'll knock it back all the way through for a throw-in to Germany deep inside their own half, which gives us opportunity to talk through the starting 11 for this second half. Neuer in goal, a back four of Brown, Rudiger, who came on for Schlotterbeck, Tar, and captain Kimmich. Pavlovic and Nemecha holding midfielders behind Wietz, Musiala and Sane, with Kai Havertz leading the line. Here comes Brown down the left-hand side. Musiala makes the overlapping run. Musiala's got it on the edge of the 6-yard box. Musiala with a shot wide of the left-hand post and out for a corner after it took a deflection on the goal line. It remains 1-0. Germany piling on the pressure at one end. Ivory Coast looking to pile the pressure on at the other. Lovely play from Brown to find the outverted run of Musiala. And as Musiala took the shot, Agbadou put his foot in, stabbed the ball away, and that's why it was directed off target. Corner ball then. Kimmich is over it. He takes 3 big steps backwards. He's got Wietz short. They did score, may I remind you, in the first half from a corner, although it was disallowed as Fofana was put under pressure from Pavlovic and punched it into his own net. They've gone for the same routine here. Short to Wietz, laid off to Kimmich. Kimmich chips in towards the back post. This time the goalkeeper's unimpacted. He's able to come out and easily make the catch, and he's rolled it out quickly into the path of Conan. Here's Diomande, left-hand side. Back to Conan again as the Ivorians don't look to pile on pressure. They look to slow down. And these stands are half empty now. They were full in the first half. I can make out the Toronto maple leaf, the big leaf of Canada, marking out on the stand. In the first half, that was absolutely rammed, so they must all be in enjoying their refreshments as the ball's played to Conan. Diamande. Here's Agbadou to Conan again. Ivorian pressure mounting as they look forward and find the run of Bonny. Bonny's touch is heavy. He's in a foot race now with Tar, but he's won that foot race and has got Tar on his back. Bonny's done well. Lays it off to Diamande. He's under pressure. Tackle comes in and out of play it goes. Nemecha with a touch. Throw in to the Ivorians over on the left-hand side. 50 minutes played. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1. Ivory Coast still building forward. They've got the ball in their back line. Fofana in goal. Conan, Agbadou, Kosunu and Singo, the back four. Four midfielders, Diamande on the left. Sangare and goal scorer Kessie down the middle with Amad Diallo, the goal scorer in their first game against Ecuador, which they won 1-0. He plays on the right. Ulai and Bonny, the two lone strikers for Ivory Coast. Forward they go. Still they mount this pressure, but they've given it away this time to Musiala. Havertz heads the ball down, back into the path of Musiala, who looks for Viet's poor pass. Picked off easily, and forward come the Ivorians once more, this time driving through with Kessie. Kessie, the goal scorer, has got space to work with. Diallo's available to his right-hand side. Amad Diallo cuts it back inside to Kessie, who looks for the second. The ball does actually make its way to goal eventually. It took a big deflection off a defender, and it rolled calmly into the arms of Manuel Neuer, who really couldn't have let that in if he tried. Remains 1-0, and it was Rudiger and Tar who came together to block that shot. Here is Tar, edging out from the back, rolls it across to Rudiger. Rudiger's got an option to his right, that's Kimmich, who's just inverted slightly, playing more of a half-back role here, which makes sense, given that he's a defensive midfielder come right back. Here is Rudiger again, this time forward and into the feet of Brown. Brown to Tar, who's drifted over on the left-hand side. Here's Viet. Viet plays a pass through, but again it's sloppy from the Germans, and the Ivorians come away with it. This time with Kessie. Here he comes forward to Sangare, and now Diallo, who's got chance to put a shot in here, has he? Or is he going to cross? He crosses, shot comes in over the top of the crossbar. Good play, no end product. Amad Diallo superb. Laid it off to Christ Inyao Olai. Olai's shot, he just leant backwards and sends it up and over the top of the crossbar. He did actually take some contact though on the edge of the box. No foul, says the referee, and play will continue from the goal kick, but he just got that all wrong. Olai, he tried to hit it with his right foot. I think it might even have bounced off his standing leg on the way through. Soars over the top of the crossbar. Remains Ivory Coast 1, Germany 0. But the team in orange have had the better of things in the opening 6 minutes of this second half. Here's the team in white though. Black, red and yellow, almost stripes, but they don't quite meet in the middle. The German flag emblazoned on the crest of the chest of these white shirts. Sane looks across to Viets. Viets chips it through back towards Sane. Cleared away. Wilfried Singo acrobatically gets to the ball, and it's cleared but not dealt with fully. Bundling around on the edge of the box as it's picked up this time by Diamande. He's under pressure from four white shirts. Can only bounce it off Kimmich, and Havertz picks it up. Havertz looks for the pass through to Musiala. This time it is cleared. Well cleared, and it's headed downwards by Brown all the way back to Antonio Rudiger, who finds Tar, and Tar forward to Nemecha. Now Pavlovic. Across he goes to Kimmich, and Tar again finds Rudiger to Sane. Sane looking forward. He's found Nemecha. Nemecha's lost the ball but can only play it back to Sane again. Sane has done well to recover and finds Kimmich. Kimmich has got Tar for company. Instead goes to Musiala. And now to Pavlovic. Back to Sane on the right-hand side, parallel with the corner of the box. He's driven towards the byline, puts a cross in towards the back post. Viets is waiting. He cushions it inside. And Havertz's touch behind his back was a little heavy. He wasn't able to get the shot off. Fofana off his line, collects the ball. 53 minutes played. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1. This game really starting to hot up as Fofana pumps it long down the right-hand side and is able to pick out Diallo. Diallo across to Singo. Singo looks forward, this time brought down by the chest of Bonny. Back to Diallo, who's got some space to work with here as he lays it off to Singo again on the right-hand side. Germany have come out after speaking to their boss, Julian Nagelsmann, who you presume wasn't happy with how they played in the first half. They've come out with a lot higher pressing in this second half, but that hasn't stopped the Ivory Coast just pumping the ball forward over the top of their press and finding Diallo. Here's Singo, right-hand side. He lays it off here for Ulai, the centre forward who likes to drop deep. He's played it back to Kosunu, and Ulai of Trabzonspor, just 20 years of age, who's been quite impressive in this game. Wasn't really involved until the 20th minute when he sprung to life, and he's been able to find Amad Diallo here. Diallo almost loses the ball to Nathaniel Brown, but the Manchester United man's done well to get back on it. His ball inside's a good one, and Ange Bonny looked to get the shot in. Frank Kessie chasing him up. Kessie's gone to ground. No penalty, says the referee. It will be a corner, and Diallo, who put the ball in the first time, will come round to take this corner. His ball inside to Bonny, a lovely one. Bonny's touch good to find Kessie. Kessie bundled to the ground. And let's just watch that again. The ball was won quite easily by Felix Nemetcha. Kessie did take contact, had every right to go to ground, but in the end, no foul. Diallo with the ball in towards the back post, but no one's there. Diamande's going to scurry over to try and get it. He just tugs Pavlovic down. The referee's given a foul. Looks soft. Pavlovic knew what he was doing, but Diamande nonetheless adjudicated to have committed that foul. And now we play on. Singo to Diallo. Right-hand side again. This time he looks across to Sangare, who's able to get it out from under his feet and find Ulai, who's dropped slightly deeper here. Ball over on the left now with Agbadou, the defender, who's got his work cut out to try and stay in this game. He had a few big moments in the first half, but he's got that tough attacking threat that Germany pose. As the Ivorians have their attacking threat, the ball falls to Amad Diallo from the long-range cross in towards the box. Diallo couldn't get a shot in, and it's rolled through to Singo on the right. Singo brings it on with his left boot, lays it off this time to Ulai. Ulai across to Singo again. They rotate in their attacking phase, the Ivory Coast. You never quite know where any given player is going to be because they just move in position. And this time it's Diallo, who's almost at centre forward, who's picked up the ball. He's found Sangare, who's laid it off to Diamande, who's looked to try a volley from 30 yards out. He's got it wrong. It's bounced twice and gone out of play for a goal kick. I think they've almost dropped into a 4-5-1. The Ivorians as well, with Traore and Diamande at wingers. Olai's dropped in as an almost attacking midfielder with Kessie, and Sangare is staying deeper behind the centre-forward Bonny. I think that's how they're setting up in their attack as Wiets picks the ball up. He's been all over the park for Germany, but yet to have any end product. They have the ball on the right-hand side. Forward they come. Sane looks to put the cross in. Is unsuccessful in doing so. But he's able to find Kimmich. Back to Wiets. Sane again. He looks forward to Havertz, who brings it under control with his left boot and lays it off to Sane, who dances around that back line, but there's no opening because they're sat so deep in their low block, the Ivorians. But they found space down the left, Germany, as Musiala's run over. He's able to play it back to Tar, and they're just looking to pass from left to right and find the space until Rudiger ties up an effort from some 40 yards out. It was poor, it was silly. He's experienced, he should know better. Over the top it goes, goal kick. 57 minutes played. The Germans readying two substitutions. One of them is going to be the big centre forward who many were surprised to not see starting, Dennis Undav, the leading German scorer in the Bundesliga this year. Only Harry Kane beat him for goals in the division. He plays for Stuttgart. He scored in their opening match against Curaçao. Then again, 6 of their players did. Dennis Undav will be coming on. Will it be Kai Havertz to come off? Most likely it will. And while Havertz has really failed to be involved too much. He's involved here though. He lays the ball off to Brown. Brown to Tar. Tar forward and into Nemetcha, who's done well to lay it back to him under pressure. Tar to Nemetcha again. Tar this time looks left to Wiets. Florian Wiets driving forward. He cuts back onto his right boot and looks to put the cross in. Instead he goes short to Pavlovic. Pavlovic with a pass of 5 yards to Kimmich. Kimmich looks inside, can only find Rudiger. Rudiger exchanges to Tar, and the Germans look to play their slow, steady build-up again. But the Ivorians are sat so deep, they're really able to just suffocate almost the German players. Tar looks to his left. This time he finds Nathaniel Brown. Brown inside to Pavlovic, who's found space for a switched ball down the right-hand side to Sane, who's got some space to work with now. Sane driving towards the edge of the box, cuts back onto his left foot. Sane cuts it off to Kimmich. Kimmich with the long-range cross in, the captain. headed away off the goal line by Singo, can only find Wirt. Wirtz inside to Musiala, edge of the 6-yard box, out it goes for a corner after he was challenged by Amad Diallo. But Musiala looking bright, Wirtz looking bright, no opening available, but those crosses from Kimmich are dangerous. So it's a short corner which is taken into Musiala, which Amad Diallo once again is able to stab out of play for a second corner in quick succession. The Germany fans behind the goal they're shooting towards as Kimmich takes 3 steps backwards for this corner. 59 minutes gone. They need a goal, the Germans, to help their progression to the knockout round for the first time since 2014. They won't do it with that corner. It's straight into the arms of Fofana. Fofana rolls it out quickly looking for Diallo, who's sprinting away. He won't get there. Havertz is down, hands on the back of his head. Let's see what was happening there. Havertz went up for the ball. He took an elbow to the back of the head from Ibrahim Sangare. Sangare's arm was across him. Don't think there's any malice. The goalkeeper's come out and won the ball. I'm sure VAR will glance at this. I'm sure nothing will come of it. Havertz is down, still holding his head, as Leroy Sané comes off the field as part of a triple change. So Sané is off, Pavlovic is off, and Musiala is off. So the fourth change to be made there. Sané, Musiala and Pavlovic have all left the field of play. We know that Undav is on, so is Llewellyn, who wears the number 9, and Amiri. So they're the changes for Germany. Interesting changes. Jamie Llewellyn gets his first appearance of this competition. The Stuttgart player. Interesting, he comes on with Undav from the same club as Germany look to build out from the back. The other change there was Amiri, who plays for Mainz. He will drop in for Pavlovic in midfield as Germany look to rush away down the right-hand side. Llewellyn's first involvement is to take the ball off the boot of Havertz, and it's kept in play just on the right-hand side. Havertz wins it back again. He's given it away this time, and the Ivorians are looking to drive forward with it. They don't get anywhere. They have to switch it across, and eventually it is cleared, but only as far as Brown. Diallo looks to step in and win the ball back. He can't do so. Wirtz has it. Brown has it. Wirtz has it again, and Wirtz cuts in onto his right boot. Across he goes, in towards Llewellyn, lays it off to Undav. Here's Llewellyn once more, ties up the effort from range, and it's high up and over the top of the crossbar, and out it goes. And there's appeals for a foul there from the Ivorian players. Shouting and screaming. We'll see what's been given. I think it will be a goal kick, but lots of arguing amongst the ranks there, and it's because Undav has just tugged the back of Wilfried Singo, who's gone down. Referee didn't see it. No foul. Play continues. So Germany have made 4 changes. The Ivory Coast yet to make any. Reminder, Rudiger and Schlotterbeck were the first change to be made. Schlotterbeck off for Rudiger. 2 shots on target apiece in this match. Just the 1 goal. An hour gone. Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1. Ball at the back with Kosunu for the team who wear orange. Sangare looks across to Agbadou. Agbadou out wide to Conan. Conan turns his back on play and actually just lays it back off to Agbadou, who's under pressure, so goes back to Fofana. And Fofana's got an option to his right, but instead will just pump it with his laces long and forward. He can't pick anyone out except Jamie Llewellyn, who wears a number 9 for Germany. His ball inside towards Havertz is poor, cleared away by the Ivory Coast. And Llewellyn was so surprised to find out he was wearing the number 9, he changed his Instagram profile picture to a picture of him with R9, Ronaldo's haircut on it. The famous number 9 who won this competition in 2002 with Brazil. So Llewellyn on the field. He's won a corner for his team. Wirtz will take it from the left-hand side. This wonderful stadium in Toronto, packed to the rafters. They want to see more action though, especially those fans behind the goal who are all wearing white with black, red and yellow flags in their hands. Germany looking for their opening goal of the game. They scored 7 last time out. Average 1 every 18 minutes. They haven't scored in 63 here as the corner comes in. Goalkeeper comes out, gets a glove to it, and it's headed wide at the back post. Big opportunity that. The goalkeeper's down and injured. He press-ups his way back to his feet. Kai Havertz, I think it was, at the back post. He timed his run to perfection. Sangare was nowhere to be seen, the marker, but Havertz's header off target. He actually just closed his eyes as he went to win the header. If he'd kept his eyes open, he'd seen the goalkeeper wasn't there, and it was an open goal to head to. Instead, those eyes were shut, the header downwards. He tried to beat a goalkeeper that wasn't there, missed the target, remains Germany 0, Ivory Coast 1, and the Ivorians coming away with it again. Here it is at the back with Agbadu to Kusunu to Singo, right-hand side. Inside to Kessie, the goal scorer, who chips forward, brought down by the chest this time of Diallo. Diallo back to Kessie, who's under pressure, loses out to Brown, who's took on 2 players, beat them, and finds Wiertz. Wiertz inside this time to Amiri. Amiri finds Llewellyn, who's still driving forward. Loads of players down, but play continues. Wiertz looks across this time to Kimmich, who's dropped into midfield. Kimmich across, still a player down and holding their knee. That is Amiri, who's only just come onto the field of play. Here's Llewellyn on the left-hand side. Big opportunity for Germany. Inside the box he goes. Nutmeg Singo, but the ball rolls through to the gloves of Yahia Fofana. Lovely play from Jamie Llewellyn, but perhaps he hadn't quite thought of his final product and couldn't put the ball across. Amiri is back up onto his feet. He actually just took a knee to the knee. Sangare went in for the challenge. Amiri took the ball away from him, and Amiri's knee just drove straight through Sangare's knee. Amiri is back on his feet, although he is hobbling. And play does continue with Kimmich. Forward and into the feet of Nemecha, who scored Germany's opening goal of the competition as they beat Karasay 7-1. Here is Llewellyn, right-hand side, and now Havertz, who's dropped a lot deeper since Undav has come onto the field. He, of course, is the centre forward now. Undav lays it back to Kimmich, who's got an option to his left in Tar. He's 30 yards from goal. No movement from the Germans, who have to go left to Llewellyn again. Back to Tar, and Tar will have to switch play to Rudiger inside his own half. Rudiger to Kimmich, and the Ivory Coast players start to press out for the first time in this second half. We've played 20 minutes. 1-0 the score, they lead. Ball played through, no one there. Out it goes for the goal kick. Or has it gone for a corner? Brown is appealing. Looked to me like a goal kick, but it has gone for a corner. Referee concurs. So once again, Kimmich over it. Almost every single one has been taken short so far. This time there is no such option. It's going to be crossed in, you feel. Last time at the back post, Havertz was there. And Havertz is starting in a similar position here, as the referee says, look, you're pushing and you're shoving inside the 6-yard box. He tells Agbadu off, and he will allow play to continue. 67 minutes, corner comes in. Kimmich from the right-hand side, towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Keeper comes out, diving punch. He's gone to ground holding his ribs, stays down. Fofana injured for the 3rd time in the match. And Germany, well, they're really frustrated there. Fofana has actually bought a free kick. He's been down for about 30 seconds. He's holding his collarbone. His arm raises up into the air to ask for medical assistance. He's still down. Now he holds his rib. But that didn't look to me like a free kick. The referee didn't give a free kick. He allowed play to continue. The ball fell back to the back line of Germany. Brown had it, in fact. And then eventually, after all of that, he's given a free kick when there was not even any contact. The dive from Fofana, well, he landed into the back of his own teammate there, Kusunu. He's down holding his ribs. It did look painful. There is no free kick to be seen there. There's not a foul at all. The referee, unfortunately, has got that one wrong, Benitez. But nonetheless, Fofana's okay. He's back up onto his feet, and play will continue from the free kick, which shouldn't be a free kick, which is lumped long to the opposite number, Manuel Neuer, who becomes this tournament's most ever capped goalkeeper as he appears for the 21st time. Of course, he won it in 2014, the only player left from that squad. And it's his nation who go forward. Sane on the right. He's left the field of play, but it's his substitute who puts the cross in. Jamie Llewellyn finds Dennis Undav, and Undav stabs into the roof of the net. Llewellyn, Amiri, and Undav combining. 3 substitutes that came on moments ago. And it's Undav who finds the back of the net. Amiri runs around waving his arms. He's getting the crowd involved. Thomas Muller in the stands on his feet. Germany 1, Ivory Coast 1. Almost every German player touched the ball. Out it was on the right-hand side. Ball played in. Lovely ball towards the back post. Undav striding into it. Met it perfectly. Side foots it past the goalkeeper and in. the impact of someone in fine form. He scored off the bench in the first match against Ecuador. He gets his second of the competition in his second match as he came off the bench against the Ivory Coast. His nation needed that. Germany won, Ivory Coast won, and the Ivorians in their hunt for their first ever knockout round. They might have to wait another match day as things stand. The Germans, well, they've not been out the group stage since 2014 when they won it. A draw may well be enough for them, although they will still have to wait and see what happens with results elsewhere. 3 teams, of course, from some groups to go through. 4 groups will not have a third place team in the knockout round. All done by points and goal difference and a ranking of how they fared in their groups. You feel that with 4 points and 7 goals, it would be enough for Germany, who have the ball down on the left-hand side. Cut it in. They're looking for a second here with Havertz, who can't get a shot off. And it rolls through to Fofana, who just about stays inside his box as he slides through on Wirtz. Quite erratic, the Ivorian goalkeeper. That's why he's been injured so many times. But he is fit to continue as the 70th minute ticks on by. Germany 1, Ivory Coast 1. Opener from Frank Kessie before Dennis Undav, the substitute, equalised in the 68th minute. Germany have it at the back with Tar. Tar looks forward and is able to pick out this time Havertz in his long white sleeves, who's able to play a ball down the right to Llewellyn this time. He cuts inside and plays a ball back to Kimmich. Kimmich looks low and hard in towards the box, but it's cleared away. And the Ivory Coast players come away with it, but give it straight back to Nemetja. Here is Rudiger. Rudiger exchanges a 1-2 this time with Amiri. Here it is on the right-hand side again with Llewellyn. He's got some space to work with, but instead is going to just hold up play before he plays it back to Kimmich. Here is Rudiger once more, across to Tar. Those two combining nicely since Rudiger's been on the field. Out wide it goes to Brown. Brown back to Rudiger and Tar. And now Kimmich. The full back line playing their part as the ball's floated forward towards Llewellyn. His first touch is good, but the cross isn't. And it's bundled clear eventually by not 1 but 2 Ivorians. And deep into the German half, where it'll be won by Yan Diomande. Big opportunity this. Kimmich's pocket picked again. And Diomande, well, he only loses the ball because Rudiger's run across and stabbed it away. But Kimmich, we said before the game started that his pace could be a problem. Diomande has run rings around him all game long. The Ivorian goal came because Diomande picked his pocket. He almost had the opportunity to create a second here as we head into the hydration break. But Yan Diomande, the talent that he is, well, he created the first goal with his dancing footwork. His dancing footwork there picked the pocket of Kimmich. He won the ball with his head. He worked his way past him. Rudiger, just as it looked dangerous, got across and stabbed the ball out of play. So it'll be a throw-in to the Ivorians when we come off the second half hydration break, just as it was at the end of the first half hydration break. 1-1 the scoreline. The opening goal, well, it came for the Ivory Coast in the first half. Kessie, well, he was there as the ball was bundling around on the edge of the box after the cross in, and Kessie side-footed past Manuel Neuer. The equaliser came just a few minutes ago. Substitutes combining. Amiri with the ball to Llewellyn, whose crossing was great. Undav stabbed in. 1-1 the scoreline. We're into the second half hydration break. And what better time to focus in on the man who may be gracing your screens across Europe. Yan Diomande, Bundesliga player, RB Leipzig, his team. Rumours that Liverpool have already put bids in for him. Some have been rejected. Leipzig want over £100 million for the man. He played academy football over in the USA. Scored 13 goals in the Bundesliga this season. A big breakout year for him. Scored on his first 2 international appearances. The second youngest